Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Armchair Booking and Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Stunning Steve Barber. Joining me, as always, is my awesome co-host, the intellectual rock star himself, Delicious Dwaylon Davis.
Hey, everybody.
We got to add some more names to that because, I was sure thinking, man, that's a long intro, but you know
Yeah, I
what?
know,
Just,
right?
just keep on, just keep on adding
Keep adding stuff
adjectives
to it.
at
Yeah.
the very beginning of it. But as we promised, a few days ago, we were going to discuss Crown Jewel. We were going to give a preview,
Yep.
especially considering the last premium live event they did, we totally honked up and just totally forgot it was even happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're sorry, our bad.
My bad.
Sorry about that. But
Yeah.
this one, Crown Jewel. Even though happening it, I know there's still some controversy about it even happening, but
hmm
it's actually become pretty decent events the past couple
Yeah.
ones. I think the first ones, because it was kind of obvious, the Saudis were actually calling the shots as far as what
Yeah.
matches they wanted.
Yep.
And so, I was going to say not that the matches weren't good, because there were some that were absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Like the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that was fun to watch, but it
But
was,
Braun Strowman wins a belt that he never had to defend. It's like,
yeah,
what's the point?
here's a belt, here's a trophy. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess they left all that stuff in Saudi. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
Yeah, so let's see, the Brothers of Destruction against
Oh, against
DX.
DX. Yeah. That. Oh my God. That.
Uh,
It didn't happen. No. It was
yeah,
just. It was a dream. We're going to pretend that was a dream sequence and just skip over that. Shawn Michaels never came out of retirement.
yeah, he never came out of retirement with a shaved head,
Yeah.
everything. And so, that one was, yeah. But this one, I'm sitting there looking over the matches. This one actually looks like it'll be pretty decent.
Yeah.
The matches actually make sense. They're not just throwing something together like the Undertaker and Rusev in a casket match for no
Yeah.
apparent reason
For no
whatsoever.
reason at all.
That's not a match you have to start a feud. That's a match you have to
No.
end a feud.
That's the end. And it didn't even start a feud. It's like Rusev got beat and that was it.
Yeah. They collected a big old fat paycheck,
hmm
and we emphasize the word fat paycheck,
Yeah. Yeah.
and went home. So, oh, and speaking of pay-per-views, the NWA have actually posted videos. I haven't watched them yet, but they posted videos from Samhain. So
Okay.
I need to go on and watch them,
Yeah.
check them out, because a friend of ours, Big Mama, she was actually there in a dark match, and from what I'm seeing, Lord Crew was also there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if he
Cool.
was in a dark match or whatever he was doing, but I definitely got to go check that out. And because with Crew, it is a matter of not if, it's a matter of when he's going to
Yeah.
hit.
hmm
Because um, when I ran into Noah Gabriel, just past Saturday, I'm still all salty with him for snotting on my shirt, but but when I was talking with him, he actually said the same thing. He said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. With
Yeah.
Crew, because he is, he's right there.
Yeah.
But this coming Saturday, and more than likely it's going to be probably around noon. I don't know the exact start time. I don't know the exact bell time, but if we're going by what's happened over the past events, it's running live, but because of the time difference, of course,
hmm
it's going to be in the middle of the day here. So um, and I am going to look it up because now it's just going to drive me nuts. Um, but what do you think of it? As far as
As far as the lineup goes, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good show. Um, just, I mean, Triple H has been booking stuff pretty well, so I think it's got a chance to be another good one.
um kickoff show starts at noon and the rest of the show starts at 1.
Okay. Sami
Yeah,
Zayn's on the kickoff. Who's he wrestling again?
JD McDonough.
Okay.
McDonough. Is it McDonough Hugh? Because I don't see a U on the end of that.
They always say McDonough.
McDonough.
Yeah.
Okay. What are they doing to Sammy?
I don't know. They split him and Kevin Owens up, and then nothing. I mean, he's not even what you would call in the. He's not in the main event scene. He's not in the Intercontinental title scene. They send his tag partner to another show. So I don't know what they're doing with him.
I, I mean, the man went from, let's see, 1 year at WrestleMania, he was jobbing out to, somebody from
Johnny
Jackass,
Knoxville.
Johnny
Yeah.
Knoxville.
Yep.
The next WrestleMania, he is like the hottest thing since Sunburn. I mean,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's in a dark match essentially
Yeah.
against the guy who's auditioning to be part of Judgment Day.
And I don't know why they changed his name. The name he went by on the Indies and in NXT UK and NXT was Jordan Devlin. That's where the JD part is.
Okay.
But I don't know where whose bright idea was it to put McDonough on the end of it. I mean, that's as bad as McGillicuddy. So it's
Yeah.
like, why did you? I don't know why they just didn't leave it, unless it was a case of he didn't want to give up the rights to his name that he was using on the Indies. So
I
maybe he
mean,
just let them come up with something.
His real name is Jordan Devlin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, wow. And
Or maybe he wanted to be able to use it when he left, because sometimes WWE has figured out ways to stop somebody from even using their real name. Like with Cody, he couldn't even use the last name Rhodes.
well,
he says he chose to, but I've also seen to where that was their way of kind of sticking it to him because he asked for his release. It's like, we'll give you a release, but we're not going to let you use the last name.
They had a lawyer. He was actually on Chris Jericho's podcast like a year or so ago, and he was actually talking about that one specifically because, of course, Cody, I mean, his actual last name is Runnels.
Runnels, yeah.
Right? So he can use the name Runnels because he used it in other things, but because Rhodes, they said he never used it anywhere but WWE, and that's why he went to AEW. And of course, it was, here's Cody and Brandy Rhodes. So it was just Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
Well, like when he left and he went to Ring of Honor, he was Cody. He was Cody in New Japan. It's like everywhere and then I don't know what happened. And then
I can tell you what happened. I can tell you what happened because this lawyer said that somebody he knew, like in Georgia or Florida. I think because Cody grew up in Georgia, I believe, didn't he? Or was it Florida?
No, I think it was Georgia.
Was it Georgia? Okay.
I think so.
And he was an amateur wrestler in high school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at one of the events that they were at a wrestling event, they actually had in the program, they actually called him Cody Rhodes. And the guy found this program.
Which means he used Cody Rhodes prior.
Before WWE. And so this lawyer actually told his friend, send that to me right now, overnight it. I don't care. I will pay the shipping. Send that to me now. I need it now. And he got it, and they filed the thing for the right to use the name Cody Rhodes because he had used it. Next thing you know, he's American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
But yeah, that is wild. I mean, how things like that happen, and they don't want people using their real names in WWE, with rare exceptions, obviously. But
their thing is big. They're big on the branding, and they also want so much control over the intellectual property of these wrestlers. Right. And so it's like, let's change their name, that way we can copyright that name, so they can't use this anywhere else, when 9 times out of 10 they don't want to use that name anyway when they leave and go somewhere else.
Right. And of course, here's the wild thing: we still refer to some people by their name they were using WWE because they were in WWE for so long.
Yep.
Like Bryan Danielson. How many times have we called him Daniel Bryan?
Yep. I'm just now really getting to the point where Bryan Danielson is the first thing I think of, and not Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Well,
Just like,
like Adam Copeland, I still say
yeah,
Edge.
Edge. Yeah. Now saying Christian Cage, that's not really a far
Yeah,
stretch.
yeah,
But like Big Cass, now he's Big Bill,
yeah. Or
and
like
he's still
Ruby,
7 foot tall. You can't teach that.
yeah, Ruby Riott is Ruby
Ruby
Soho.
Soho.
Yeah,
And of course, Dean Ambrose, not John Moxley. Now that one I have just called him Moxley, or
oh yeah,
Mox. A lot of people
yeah,
just refer to him as Mox. So,
yeah.
uh, oh, here we go. Sorry, folks, I gotta fix my hair some. Because you keep your hair in a ponytail too long, and it does make it starts giving you headaches because your skin's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but um, anyway, away from the hairdressing tips, but yeah, so yeah, Sami Zayn the during the kickoff show, which was the last time they actually had a match during the kickoff show.
Yeah, it's been a minute since they've done that.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird when I saw the announcement for that match. I think if the Judgment Day interfere, JD might win it, but I think Sammy's going to win it.
I think because they're trying to push JD McDonough, I
Hmm.
think he's going to go over. Um, just because they're trying to, he's trying to get into Judgment Day.
Yeah.
He's it's like when Lex Luger was the associate of the Horsemen.
Oh, the Horseman. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And
yeah,
so I think he is going to go over Sammy, even though I still don't like. It's like put him over somebody else. Don't put him over Sammy.
yeah.
You know, but I mean, I think that he's going to take that for no other reason than they want to. They're trying to push him.
You could be right. Yeah,
Yeah, and this is Triple H doing the booking, not Vince.
yeah.
But it's like, oh, you come from NXT. All right, we're gonna just bury you right off.
Oh, but if it was Vince booking, Sammy would guarantee to lose because
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you know what?
Vince always booked Sammy like crap.
He did, and because he didn't like him.
Yeah.
He didn't. Well, he didn't like the character, but he didn't think he was one to push because
Hmm.
Sammy's a pretty funny dude from what I gather.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, of course, once again, Vince got proved wrong.
sure did.
So
Um, so that match, I mean, is almost like filler, but it's the kickoff show, and they may be
yeah.
putting the match back in the kickoff show because I wasn't even watching the kickoff show. I'm like, there's no match. I ain't watching this. You know,
Mm-mm. It's just video packages, and we've seen all that.
yeah.
So there's no point in watching the kickoff show.
It's video packages that we've already seen, and it's the same video packages they're going to show during the
Hmm.
event.
Yep.
Which, by the way, on the last premium live event, there was what 5 matches
Yeah. Yep.
in 3.5 4 hours, five
Hmm.
matches. This one, um, not including the kickoff show matches, one, but then there's going to be 7 matches on the main thing. So
Right.
at least they have more matches. I just hope they don't have all the video packages because remember that's one thing about Crown Jewel. The entrance ramp to the ring is already long.
Yeah. It was like a mile long.
Yeah,
And then you got the video packages between the entrance and the video packages. Sometimes they were longer than the actual match.
yeah, and especially on some of the premium live events, it feels a woman's match because Vince was
Yeah.
all right. Let him go out there for about 2 minutes. All
I
right,
was gonna
bring him
say
back.
give them 2 or 3 minutes and then just bring them back.
All right, bring him back. Match ain't over. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just bring him back.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just going to go in the order these are listed on Wikipedia. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. I personally think that Drew should win,
Mhm.
simply based on, you know, when he was a world champion, it was during the pandemic, which he's talked about in, you know, as far as this storyline goes. And he beats Brock Lesnar for the WWE title, and there's no one there. You know,
Yep.
biggest moment of his career, and there's no one there, which couldn't be helped. But at the same
Right.
time, it's like, that's got to really suck because it's like having that roar of the crowd when you finally accomplish that has got to be just amazing. And him and Brock were just in an empty building, you know.
And you knew the pop would be huge because
Oh yeah,
when he hit Brock with the Claymore kick out of the
at
Royal
the
Rumble,
Rumble, yeah, it
oh,
was huge.
I think that was probably the second biggest pop of the night. The first one being when
Yeah,
Edge's music hit,
yeah,
But when Drew, and then he just sit there and just stared at him,
yeah.
threw somebody else out, back staring at Brock again. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this
And
is gonna
Brock
be good.
sold it. Brock didn't leave
He did.
ringside. He just kept looking like, I can't believe this dude just kicked me out.
Yeah, and I think Drew's also stared at him like, yeah, go ahead and come back in, see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
You ever heard of FAFO?
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. But
But I think Drew should win, but I don't think they're done with Seth as a world champion just yet. But they're going to have to pull the trigger on taking the belt off Seth sooner or later because they keep playing up his injured back.
right.
Sooner or later, you got to have a payoff to that. Sooner or later, you got
Mm-hmm.
to have somebody target the back repeatedly until he just can't go. And you don't even have to have him pinned. Do referee stoppage and
Yep.
have somebody beat the crap out of him until he can't go anymore and the referee just stops. It would give it that big fight feel if
Yes.
somebody was to just beat him so bad he couldn't continue and the referee had to step in and stop it. That's what I think should happen, but I think they're going to have Seth retain.
I think this would be a prime example. I'm going to go back to an old school storyline from the mid '80s. Rick Martel when he was AWA World Champion, and him and Stan Hansen,
Mm-hmm.
they had the thing, and there's a match you can find it. It's the match itself was in Comiskey Park, and it was a world title match. It lasted all of 2 minutes. They were both counted out. The
Mm-hmm.
match officially lasted 2 minutes. It was a lot
Right.
longer than that, but it was Stan Hansen basically whacking Rick Martel in the back with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And but Martel, I mean, was fighting, and it was actually because Rick Martel was known as a scientific type wrestler,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was brawling with Stan Hansen outside the ring and the dugouts at Comiskey
Mm-hmm.
Park. I mean, but Stan Hansen worked on his back, and then when he finally beat Martel for the AWA World Title, it was with a Boston Crab, which of course
Puts a lot of
focuses
pressure on the back. Yep.
exactly, and so I could see something like that happening with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
Although Drew McIntyre is not known as a submission wrestler, but I mean, he could still do that. But like you said, I mean, beats him down to the point the referee has to stop and say, "Here you
Yeah.
go, the
Like
belt's yours."
it reminds me of when Steve Austin and Bret Hart had their submission match at
Yes,
WrestleMania 13, and Steve Austin said, "I'm not a submission guy, but I'm just going to beat the crap out of you until you can't get up,
yeah.
or
Uh,
until you say I quit." You know.
they say I quit, and of course, the ironic thing was Steve Austin. I've heard an interview. He said the same thing. He said, "I'm not a submission guy." He said so. The only move he did that would be considered a submission move was a Boston Crab.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, Brett, the sharpshooter it's a Boston Crab, but with a twist
Yeah.
with the legs.
Yeah.
Makes,
With the legs laced. Now, when Steve Austin was stunning Steve, he did have a submission finisher for a while. He called it Hollywood and Vine. When him and Brian Pillman were the Hollywood Blondes, it was like a variation of the spinning toe hold, except
mm.
he kind of laid back with it and hooked it more. But
Okay.
it was more like it looked more like the Indian Deathlock than the spinning toe hold.
I wish somebody would bring that move back.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
very hard. If you were looking at how they do it, I mean, it is so
mm-hmm,
complicated.
yeah,
But when you get it locked on, yeah, it's locked. And
yeah. The problem, my thing is, I've always loved submission wrestling. Like when Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit had their feud, I loved it because it was two submission guys, and and they knew more than just their finishers. They knew submissions and they knew counters to the submissions. They knew counters to each other's submissions. And I feel like that's beginning to be a lost art in pro wrestling. Everything's so high octane and just go 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 that I don't feel like especially a lot of newer fans don't have the patience for that type of match.
Me, I would love it.
Hmm.
And now I'm not going to say like the matches where, it was 10, 15 minutes of a headlock, one
No, no,
headlock,
no.
and they're trying to
Yeah,
escape it the whole time. But
yeah. No, no, no. Those are boring. Those rest hold matches were extremely boring. But like you've got a guy like okay, like Brian Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. from Wrestle Dream. Excellent, amazing match. You had two technicians in the ring, and that's what I always like to see. I mean, yeah, I like the power guys too, but I always preferred the technicians. The matches were just more interesting to me with the technicians. With the power guys, it was a car crash.
yes, but I mean, if you had two power guys get in there and they
Yeah,
were able to do the moves, okay, cool. You get two scientific guys in there. All right,
yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
Because people don't realize Ric Flair, he always made the joke, before I say retired. He said only thing he had was a chop, a knee drop, and a woo. And,
Hmm.
but if you look at some of his matches, from like the 70s and 80s, even leading up to the early 90s, Ric Flair, I mean, he had a pretty vast repertoire as far
Oh
as his
yeah.
moveset went.
Look at the trilogy he had with Ricky Steamboat over the world title. They
Yeah.
pulled everything out.
Um, and Ted DiBiase, he was called like the master of the suplex or whatever, because he had all sorts of different suplexes that
Hmm.
he would do. Before he put on his $1 Million Dream, which is
Yeah,
technically a submission move.
yep.
But Flair was doing like every kind of suplex known to man too.
Hmm.
I
Yep.
mean, I saw him do the back suplex, of course, the vertical suplex. He was doing the double underarm
Yeah.
suplex like that. I
Hmm.
mean, um, so that's the reason why Flair because we're champion, because he could just pull off
Oh
that any
yeah.
move there was.
Yep.
And the thing with Rollins, I think Rollins could. McIntyre is more of a power guy. You
Hmm.
can't help a guy that size.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a lot of scientific moves out of him, unless he's with another guy his size, and
Yeah.
then it will kind of make sense. But he's not going to be a big man. The bigger the
Yeah.
men doing
Yeah.
those kind of moves um, with it, because I mean, even his Claymore kick, which by the way, it's just a one-footed drop kick. That's really all it is,
Yeah.
But he comes at it, he's so explosive about it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see McIntyre win it at some point. I think this is the first match, so it might be a little too early.
Might be.
Maybe. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about it. And then we also have the whole thing with Damian Priest. He might cash in. We don't know.
He might. Like I said on Monday, they're going to have to pull the trigger on that soon
Yes.
before before the Rumble, because after that he's going to get lost in the shuffle.
And next thing you know, I'll be making the prediction again. He's going to cash in at WrestleMania. So,
And
um,
he just might. He might
I
cash in
mean,
at WrestleMania.
I want to see him cash in against somebody in Judgment Day and
Hmm.
have that split. But I mean, I don't know how right now. I don't know how we would
See, they
work
had
that.
the perfect opportunity when Seth Rollins and Finn Balor were feuding. It was
Yes,
late. It was right there, laid out for them. All they had to do was have Seth beat Finn, and then have Damian cash in on Finn. It was literally laid out in front of them, and they didn't take advantage of
done. He's no longer in Judgment Day. He's world champion. Now
it. Hmm.
he's by himself now, and he's the target of
Exactly.
everybody. But I mean,
Yep.
that's also intriguing. And Damian Priest, I mean, his character. I'm pretty sure the man himself too is tough enough to be able to handle like
Oh yeah.
everybody. He's like,
Yep.
"Oh, you all want me? Come on, all right, line
Yep.
up, let's go." So, um, but I mean, I think that's going to be a hard hitting match. It has potential to be a really good match. We'll have to see. Um, Looking forward to that one. The next one's listed is the Fatal Five. Yeah, and my feelings on 5-way matches anyway. But
Yeah, I know. But
Uh,
storyline
but
wise,
storyline wise,
it
yeah.
makes sense.
Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez. Like I said, when Zoe Stark is the smallest person in the
Yeah,
ring, I
yeah.
mean, um, this is actually
Some
I
heavy
don't see a
hitters in
lot of
this match.
scientific moves in this match.
Yeah, Shayna's going to try to tear somebody's arm off
Yeah, like
because
for
that's what
real.
Shayna does. Like in a perfect world, I would go with Shayna Baszler. I feel like she is long overdue for a
Oh,
world title on
oh,
the
I
main
agree.
roster,
I agree.
but it's not time to take it off Rhea yet. Rhea's the hottest thing they've got. They've clearly positioned her as the leader of Judgment Day, without saying so, but her actions say, I'm calling the shots. And she's the biggest female star they have. No disrespect to Becky Lynch, but Rhea Ripley is 27 years old and she's just scratching the surface of how good she's going to be.
I just thought about something. Is this Shayna Baszler's first time at one of the Saudi events?
I think so. I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, not to get into too many of the reasons why she wasn't there before,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I believe it was because I think me and Savannah, for people who don't know, it's my 14-year-old daughter. I think we were talking about that one time and about why I had to explain to her why they didn't have Shayna on those cards previously. So I didn't think
of
about that, but yeah,
course, then again, Sami Zayn, he's back, and that's actually
yeah.
something else. Do you remember how popular? I mean, the pop for him at the last Saudi event?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and now they're putting him on
Yeah, he's
the
relegated to the pre-show. Yeah.
yeah. What are y'all thinking? But anyway, I agree. I mean, Rhea Ripley should win this. Now, who she pins or submits?
It
Hmm.
shouldn't be. It's going to have to be Raquel because Zoe Stark doesn't need to take the pin because she's the up and comer, you know, and they
Yep.
they seem they seem to really like her and kind of they're keeping her in the main event scene. It shouldn't be Nia because she just got back,
Right.
and it shouldn't be Shayna because it's Shayna, and she should be getting pinned. Eh, Nothing against Raquel, but Raquel can take that pin and it not really shove her down the card.
um, I'm just wondering, like the five of them may get together and go, look, it's going to be hot. It's like 180 degrees, and
Yeah,
inside the stadium feels like a convection oven, and we
and they're
have
going to have to
to,
all be
yeah.
fully clothed. Yeah,
Which Naya, I mean, her ring outfits are normally like that anyway,
yeah,
so for her it's not a big deal. But the other ones,
yeah.
you know,
But
um,
Shayna always wears pants,
she
but she usually
does.
has like a tank top type thing, so she'll have to be covered up. Zoe will have to be covered up. Raquel wears pants, but she'll have to cover up top. Rhea
Um,
will have to completely cover up
but I
because
say Rhea, she normally wears like some S&M type stuff.
yeah,
Not to go very family unfriendly, but it's normally kind of what she wears, and
yeah.
so she might be a little uncomfortable, when
Hmm.
she's used to, um, wearing something that she, won't restrict her movements, and now it may
Yeah.
feel restrictive.
And what
But
I
it,
think is cool is Rhea's outfit now is she said is what she's most comfortable in ring wise. But Vince McMahon always had her cover up because she has tattoos on her legs and
oh yeah,
things like that. And it's like, why? No one cares if she has tattoos on her legs. If anything, a lot of people are like, okay, all right, that's cool.
yeah, because that's what I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, move on. you know,
exactly. That's it. It's like, it's not a big thing.
um, yeah. I wonder what Vince's hang up with that would be. I,
I, it's just his hang up with women, period, because he didn't have any guys that were covered in tattoos. He didn't have them covering up.
I say because Aleister Black, I mean, He was
Yeah,
wearing basically like some skinny bikini briefs when he was in
yeah,
there. He showed off
Alistair
all his
Black,
tattoos.
both the guys from the Viking Raiders are covered up with tattoos. It's like, and you don't say anything about that, but Rhea had tattoos on her legs, and it's like, oh, she's got to wear pants.
Um, and actually, Alistair Black, he never made a Saudi show because of not because he had tattoos, but because of what one or two of the tattoos were.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ones on his back.
Yeah. Because he is it's not Satanism, but it's something very it's like Aleister Crowleyism, whatever it's
Yep.
associated with that. There's actually
Yeah.
a name, and I can't remember because I worked with a guy at Time Warner Cable who was actually the same thing. But yeah, I agree. Rhea Ripley should win. I think she probably will win. Who eats the pen? Yeah, Raquel. I mean, that does make sense. And of course, the way they've been doing it, it's somebody else is going to beat Raquel down, and then Maria will throw whoever it is out, and she'll actually pin them.
Yeah.
But next match they list. Whoever does these articles on Wikipedia, seriously, y'all need to work on your order. Next one that's listed is Roman and LA Knight.
Come on, people. You know that's the main event.
That's going to be the main event. Come on. I don't think they're going to take the title off Roman just yet.
No, but I think it's going to be a star-making performance for LA Knight. I think it's going to be. I think this is what he will need to be a main event guy for years to come. It's this match, and I mean, as far as the fans go, he's already a main event guy. I mean, and the way he's been booked, he has been positioned to where he doesn't feel out of place in the main event because everybody's been thinking he should have been here a couple years ago. So
once again, VKM, HHH.
Yep.
There's the difference.
I think it's going to be a great match. Roman always does his part to make you believe that this might be the time that he loses. Roman's gotten excellent at doing that, at planting that little bit of seed of doubt of you thinking they may actually take the title off Roman. And then he pulls it out. Yeah, but I think it's going to be an excellent match. I think LA Knight's going to have a great showing. And I think this will be his breakout match.
I don't see. Well, I mean, the bloodline's not really the bloodline anymore, anyway. Not so much, but Solo Sikoa is there. Jimmy Uso, he's not listed as being anywhere. However, it seems like one of the ways Roman's been retaining the title is when somebody from the bloodline will interfere.
Yep.
In fact, that's one of Drew's gripes, was he had Roman beat.
Yeah. Which is a legitimate gripe. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Solo hadn't have been there, he'd have had Roman beat.
He'd have had Roman beat. Yep. By the way, Solo Sikoa, his actual name is Joe. So once again, not Samoa Joe, but a Samoan named Joe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm going to guess there must be somebody in their family with the name Joe. Just like there's a lot of people in my family with the name William. That's why I have 3 first cousins with the name William. Yeah, they all go by different names, but because there's William, also known as Bobo, none of that ever since we were little kids, Billy, and then Willie John. All 3 of first cousins, they all 3 have William as their first name.
Oh, wow.
Because I had, my granddad, his first name was actually William. And so, but amongst the 45, 46 cousins that I had, because my dad being the youngest of 12. But anyway, I digress. But I think Roman takes it, probably with interference. But LA Knight is going to get over. Like he's already over, but he's going to get over even more.
Yep. They said the rumor has it that this will be Roman's last premium live event for the year. He's not scheduled for Survivor Series.
Oh, and see, I saw something. I don't know if it was a shoot or a work, and LA Knight was actually talking about that. He said he wrestles 3-4 times a year,
Yeah,
but they try to celebrate, his 1,000-day reign. He's like, yeah, it's
yeah,
easy to keep your title if you never defend it.
yeah, yeah.
So, um, and of course, Heyman's going to be there. Um, yeah, and LA Knight, I mean, his popularity, it just seemed like he was there, like almost mid card type. Then also,
Hmm. Oh
it
yeah,
just, and it was organic.
yeah. The fans just took to him and just that was it.
But like I said, there's a difference between Vince McMahon and Paul
Triple
Levesque.
H. Yeah.
Because Paul Levesque listens to the fans going, they like him, let's push him.
Hmm.
Give the fans what they want,
Yeah.
and they will pay.
They will keep paying to see it.
Yeah,
That's why LA Knight for the past 2 or 3 months has been the biggest merchandise pusher. He gave the fans what they wanted, and they're shelling out money for his merch.
and I can tell you right now, if it's anything like what I've seen at events, it's a lot of money for the merch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I still need to work on that, by the way. I promise, we're going to have an episode, don't know when, but we're going to talk about the economics of being a wrestling fan. Because I mean, it gets pretty interesting when
Yeah.
really look into it. The next one, Rey Mysterio, Logan Paul for the U.S. title.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. As much as what I don't want it to happen, because Logan Paul, I mean, he is a part-time wrestler, but he has a lot of respect for the business. He trains, he doesn't make it all about him. He makes it about the match. He wants the match to be good, and I respect that. But it's hard for me to think of him as being anything but a YouTube. I don't even know if you call him an influencer or the brother of one of the most irritating people in the history of
Yeah.
ever on YouTube.
Yeah.
Um, but they will probably put the U.S. title on because Logan Paul is also over.
Hmm.
Rey Mysterio is over. But Ray should have retired when they put him in the Hall of Fame, back 6-7 months ago.
Just like I still say that they made the wrong call having him beat Dominic at
Yeah,
WrestleMania. They should have had Dominic beat him and Ray
and
retire.
Ray retire. That would have been their WrestleMania moment as father and
Hmm.
son.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that would have been something
Oh
to talk
yeah.
about. But no, here we are. We're still going now. I do think that Dominic is going to be there somewhere in the building.
Hmm.
And I think that, yeah, he will help. He will interfere and help Logan Paul win the title.
I could see
I,
that.
yeah, I
I could
mean,
also see Santos Escobar turning on Ray
oh, that's true.
and causing Ray the title because when Santos was in NXT, he was the leader of that group. And
Hmm.
then they come to the main roster, all of a sudden the LWO's back and Ray's the leader of the group. And then and they still have that unresolved issue of um, Escobar was supposed to get the US title shot, got jumped by Austin Theory and couldn't and was not cleared to compete. So they had Ray take his spot. Ray beats Theory and wins the US title. And then Escobar's gotten a match, but I think there was some interference and Ray ended up winning because of the interference. So that could still come into play if they want to pull the trigger on that and then have that way it gets the title, it gets more focus on the title, getting it off Ray and have Ray doesn't need the title to have a feud with
No,
Escobar.
no.
And like I said on Monday, I'm generally never for a celebrity winning a championship in pro wrestling, but Logan Paul is the exception because of the work that he's put in
Right.
And because of his love for the business, and because I think it would be, as the Miz would say, it would be must see TV. People are going to be like,
That's true.
people who may not watch pro wrestling on the regular, but follow him on YouTube will be like, oh, he's got a championship in WWE. Let me turn that on and see what's going on there. He
Right.
may, he could bring more eyes to the product.
And it's not a David Arquette situation where David Arquette,
Yeah.
that whole debacle,
And he didn't even want to win it.
Yeah.
He didn't want it. Like when they approached him with the idea, he's like, no, I have no business being, WCW world champion, but they talked him into it. So what he did was gave all of his salary as world champion. He donated all that to charity.
Yep. And that whole match, he pinned somebody who wasn't even champion, but somehow.
It was a tag match. It was DDP and David Arquette. DDP was the world champion.
Was the champion.
And then it was Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff. Well, whoever got the pin was the world champion. And then David Arquette pins Eric Bischoff and wins the world title. The stupidest part of it is DDP's over there raising his hand and handing him the belt. And it's like, dude, he literally just took your title.
Yeah.
You walked in as champion, and then David Arquette walks out with your belt, and you didn't even get pinned for it. Eric Bischoff got pinned for it.
You should have clotheslined him for real.
Exactly. You should have hit him with a diamond cutter.
For real.
And if there was ever a time for a diamond cutter, it would have been right there.
Yeah, you should have said, "Hey, lay the bet down the floor and show you something." Boom, diamond cutter right on the belt.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then just walked out of the company because.
Yeah, and been like, bye.
Deuces, I'm out.
Yeah.
But Logan Paul's a lot different because Logan Paul, like I said, has put in the work. And this is not Logan Paul's first match. That one with David Arquette, I believe, was his very first match.
That was his very first match, and then that was his only match for a long time. And then he got the wrestling bug and really trained and got better. And he's done a lot of indie stuff. But Logan Paul also has been trained by Shawn Michaels. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And Shawn Michaels, obviously, the respect he has for the business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a good match.
Yeah. I think it'll be good because Ray can still, Ray's not as quick as he used to be, which makes sense. He's almost 50, but he still can pull out those amazing moves when he needs to.
And if you look at him, Ray, he's pretty cut.
Yeah. Yep. But I think Logan Paul, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Logan Paul will win. I think Logan Paul should win.
I think Logan Paul will win. I'm still on the fence of whether or not he should, just because there's so many, but I think Dominic will, or Santos Escobar, there will be some outside interference. Because, granted, I've said that probably about every match on here so far, but there's just every single one of them. They all have the,
I think the only match that has the potential that doesn't have any outside interference is the Fatal 5-Way, because
they're all in the ring already.
Everybody that would interfere is already in the match.
Yeah. Sami Zayn, JD McDonough, because he's trying to be part of Judgment Day. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. I can't really see any interference there, but
I could see Judgment Day interference because Rhea was trying to cut a deal with Seth on Raw this past week to have Judgment Day watching his back, and at the same time, Rhea helped. If I remember right, Rhea helped Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn on, I think, a week or two ago on Raw. So Judgment Day's had their fingers all over that program too.
Judgment Day have become a great faction, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Because this is the kind of stuff the Horsemen used to do back in the day. It didn't matter what match was going on, they were somehow involved with it.
Oh yeah. They were somehow involved, and they somehow always made their presence felt.
Yes. And so, yeah, Judgment Day, I mean, they've really elevated that. The bloodline, not to say that the bloodline's still not, because, they have the Roman, with all his belts um, but the bloodline aren't as powerful as what they were.
And
Judgment Day are.
I think that it was one of the best storylines that they've honestly ever had. But I think it got so far that they didn't know where to go next. Like when they split Jimmy and Jay, it's like they didn't know where to go
Right.
because, 1 minute they've got Jimmy saying that he's, you know, he attacked Jay at SummerSlam because he had Roman beat and he didn't want Jay to turn into Roman by, winning the titles and becoming the tribal chief and all that stuff. But then now they're kind of like in a blood feud. Jimmy's trying to get back into the bloodline. Now Jimmy's been extremely entertaining as like this loose cannon type character, but storyline wise, it's like it makes no sense because like, him and Solo come out and do something. Solo always looks at him like he has no use for Jimmy at all. And then we don't know what Jimmy's doing. Roman's barely there. So as I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on the bloodline story.
Oh, either way, I mean, um, Judgment Day, they could interfere in the United States title match. Next match listed: Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest. Judgment Day already.
Definitely going to be some interference there.
Um,
Cody's going to win this. They ain't sending Cody all the way to Saudi to have him
no,
lose. But Damian Priest should win this because Cody Rhodes is bulletproof. I still say after his performance in that Hell in the Cell match against Seth Rollins, Cody's bulletproof. He could lose every match between here and WrestleMania and still be the number one contender for the title because he's that over.
I want to hear the crowd in Saudi singing along here, saying "Whoa!" because it's a huge crowd.
Oh yeah,
and wow, um, that'd be a sight to behold. Actually,
oh yeah. But I think Damian Priest will win, probably due to interference from the Judgment Day. I think he should win due to that interference, but I think Cody will win.
I think Cody will win also, though, but because of the interference, it's going to backfire.
Yeah, that's true.
And because they've been kind of pushing that, Damian, I mean Priest, they've been kind of hinting, kind of teasing that he's going to jump anyway.
Yeah, they even have people being like, we thought you were the leader of the Judgment Day, but obviously Rhea's the leader of the Judgment Day. And they've been planting those seeds everywhere for eventually for him to break away and be the face because they clearly have big plans for Damian Priest.
Oh yeah,
They clearly think highly of him. Yeah,
they
which
should.
they should.
I mean, yeah. Oddly enough, I never really thought of Damian Priest as like the leader because he seems more like the guy who's standing back in the background, where he doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah, he's more like how Kevin Nash was in the NWO.
Yeah.
Like, Hogan was out front as a leader and Nash was just standing back like, all right, I'm gonna powerbomb somebody when it's necessary.
Yeah, I tell you what, that guy over there who's bringing the popcorn to everybody, he doesn't have correct change.
Yep, he's looking at me funny. If there's not extra butter on that popcorn, he's getting powerbombed.
Oh, there he goes.
Yep.
But and I think if this match happens before the match with Drew and Seth, if it does, then you have the potential where he could cash in because he's mad at Judgment Day, and so he goes and he cashes in, and of course if he cashes in on Drew, if Drew does happen to take the title, because like you said, I mean they've been pushing for Seth. He may be out with he does have a legitimate back injury from what I understand.
Yeah, he's got the same injury I've got. He's got compression fractures in his back. So
there you go. I mean legit. That's nothing to play around with.
No.
Now granted, I don't think he has your racetrack back that you have.
No.
But
yeah, no, he doesn't have that, but he does have the compression fractures.
Yeah, I'm kind of
So
wondering, did Seth leave high school, for the last 3 months of his junior year and come back 3 inches taller like you did?
yeah,
By the way, that ladies and gentlemen, that is a true story.
it really is. Yep.
Um, but yeah, I could see, so part of it kind of depends on what order of the
Yeah.
matches, um, because I mean, this is just a match. There's no stipulations on it.
Yeah.
There's
It's just a
this,
one-on-one. It's like a grudge match.
right. So I
Because
mean, and there's a storyline leading into it,
yeah,
but it's not for a title, which also means, by the way, the Intercontinental title is not being defended. The tag team titles are not being defended.
is EO is,
Yeah, yeah, she is.
okay, okay.
Um, so that just also shows they have too many titles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but so I think Cody, but because of interference that backfired.
Mm, that makes sense.
Uh, Cena, Solo Sikoa. I'm gonna go for Solo because Cena,
Same.
yeah, Cena doesn't need it. He doesn't need the win.
He doesn't need it, and Cena seems to be in that mode of doing the honors on his way out the door.
Yep. Cena gets it.
Yeah.
And the people out there who are just Cena haters, Cena can draw a crowd. The crowd are not booing him because they don't want to ever see him
Hmm.
wrestle. They're booing him because it's part of the thing now. Oh, we got to boo John Cena, and he just
Yeah.
he
And
just
he just come on.
oh come on,
Yeah.
this half is cheering me, this half is booing me. I'm
Yeah.
getting a reaction
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah. Cena needs to lose. Solo definitely needs this win because it will really push him further up the card as a legit threat when you put down John Cena. I mean,
And
John Cena's name, as far as the company goes, pinning John Cena still means a lot.
yes, it does because John Cena, is to kind of depending on whatever's going on, the face of the company
Oh yeah,
for years.
yeah,
You know, and I'm not saying he hasn't pulled his own kind of political stuff because Nexus,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that when he
That
even admits now, yeah, he shouldn't have done that because he killed
he
seven
killed that
people's,
game.
yeah,
Sure did. He killed that whole group because he had to be the superhero and have them win, have
right.
himself win it. But I think Cena needs to be looking at the lights. Solo needs to hit that Samoan spike and pin him.
And now I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of shenanigans. I'm not going to say interference, but it'll
I,
be
I, I'm sure
something
old I'm sure old loose cannon Jimmy will probably show up and interfere.
true. That could be it. Because Solo Sikoa, yes, have him win. Don't make it a clean win though, because he's
Yeah,
still a heel. So
yeah,
you kind of want to show,
yeah.
yes, he's unbeatable. It doesn't matter if he cheated to win; he's still unbeatable.
Hmm.
You know, I think Ted might agree with me on that one.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Hey Ted, as soon as you hear that, send me a text and tell me what you think. So uh you go listen to the Hell Truth, ladies and gentlemen. Ted, he'll drop some wisdom on you. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, that match. I mean, there's also not really much writing on this match except for to push Solo
Yeah.
Sikoa. So
Yep.
I think Solo should, and I think Solo will win.
I agree.
Last match they have listed, and we know this is not going to be the main event because it's Saudi. Yes, I said that. I said what I said. It's Saudi
Oh
Arabia.
yeah.
They're not going to have a women's match as the
Oh
main
no.
event.
Nope. Never.
Um, Io Sky with Bailey and Dakota Kai. Sky and Kai. Sorry. She's defending the WWE Women's Championship against Bianca Belair.
It's going to be an excellent match.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some interference by Bailey, which generally backfires.
Yep.
But a lot of times it backfires, but it still goes in EO's favor. I think EO Sky is going to win and retain the title. I think she should win. I don't think Bianca needs to. Bianca doesn't need the title right now.
No.
And I mean, she's already solidified her position as one of the absolute stars of that division. And you know, they're still building that tension with Io and Bailey, and still, you know, we know where that's headed. And I think Io needs the title. Io needs to keep the title happens because Bailey will have the reasoning to be like, the only reason you're champion is because I've helped you all this time. So I should get a shot at the title. Then have
Yes.
Io beat Bailey because Bailey's just one of the most unselfish people in wrestling, and she is all about getting other people over.
Yeah, we're talking, and when we say we're talking about, Pamela Martinez, the person,
Mm-hmm.
behind Bailey.
Yep.
And by the way, when I told, I think it was my wife, I said, yeah, her name's actually Pamela Martinez. And I said, she doesn't look like a Pam. I was like, I have no idea what a Pam looks like, but apparently Bailey does not look like a
It don't
Pam.
look like one. Yeah.
But she's Pam.
Yep.
But I will also say Bianca Belair's hair is just going to kind of completely come out of the ponytail holders because of the humidity and everything.
Oh yeah.
So her ponytail is going to be frayed by the end of the match.
Yeah.
Just because, science. But
yeah. Yep.
I think eventually, honestly, speaking of her ponytail, I mean, I know it's been a gimmick for a few years, but it's almost time to say, okay, we're going to have to change this up a little bit.
Yeah, she could lose that ponytail and it wouldn't, I feel like at this point it would not affect her at all.
No. Because she's not like Samson. I mean, that's not where her strength lies, is in her hair.
Right.
I mean, Bianca Belair now, I mean, she's like stupid strong.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think during the middle of the match, she will have, and Io Sky is not very big, so
No, she's going to get press slammed.
Yeah, with one hand.
Yeah.
She'll hold her up, be pressing her like this and looking at her, looking around. Oh, yeah. Let me toss it down because, I mean, you look at Bianca Belair. I mean, she's not like defined either. But when you see the things that she does, like I said, she has like the Cesaro strength. That's the only person I can compare her to.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think Io wins. Bailey probably will interfere. It will backfire, but Io's still going to win. I want to see Bianca Belair turn heel. I want her to see her join the Street Profits.
Same. I want her with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. I want that to be a group.
Yes.
Because we had the Hurt Business and Vince took it away from us. And we need that back. This could be the Hurt Business 2.0, whatever they want to call it. But then you've got your, and if they all win titles, you have your women's champion, your tag champions, your world champion.
Yes. And they would just dominate.
Oh yeah.
And why not put a husband and wife together in a team?
Yeah.
Because Bianca Belair, she's married to Montez Ford.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a recent thing.
No.
I mean, they've even been in a commercial for was it Dollar General? I think
so. They're gonna have their own reality show on Hulu.
Oh, yeah, I'm still not watching that though. I've not watched any of the.
I might give it a try. I tried to watch like Ms. and Mrs., but I couldn't make it.
I mean, I think I caught like 5 or 10 minutes of it one time.
Like if they would legitimately let these people just be themselves and not script this stuff, then I'd watch it. But all this heavily scripted reality TV stuff is like, no, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch the WWE version of the Real Housewives.
Or the Keeping Up with Our Kardashians.
Exactly. I don't want to watch that.
Oh,
I have no interest.
Because I think I caught like 5 or 10 minutes of the Kardashians, and it's like hypnotizing. And all of a sudden you're like, no, I got to stop. I feel like IQ points falling out my ears. It was bad, but yeah. And I really, because I don't want to think bad of any of the wrestlers, especially Bianca Belair and Montez Ford.
Yeah.
Because I really like both of them. I don't want to think badly of them when you see them doing these reality shows. Like, oh no, just like
come on now.
when the Bellas, they had what
Oh
was it
God.
called? The Divas or what was
Yeah, they had Totally Divas,
there it is. Yeah.
and then they had Totally Bellas once that ran its course, and it's like, I don't care. No, just
Yeah.
wrestle.
And of course that was also when we found out that John Cena and Nikki Bella, they had a relationship agreement, kind of like
Yeah,
Sheldon in Big
yeah.
Bang Theory.
His roommate agreement. Yeah,
When I saw that, he's like, "Oh, according to contract, you got to move out. You got 30 days to move out." You
yeah,
know, and they were engaged because remember, he
yeah.
dropped down on one knee and he
Did
referred.
it at WrestleMania, and it's
Yeah,
like, you
I
know,
mean,
that's gonna suck for her though. She can't. There's no way she can go back and ever watch that match, because it's like, I got engaged in front of the world, and then didn't end up marrying the guy that I
I
got
know. I
engaged
mean,
to.
what was it like a year later, like
Yeah,
or something like that they
and
broke
and
up,
now that and now they're both married to different people.
and I know she has a kid with,
Yeah.
you know, and her stepdad still clown shoes.
Oh, clown shoes. Oh, John Laurinaitis.
John Clown Shoes Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Um, I think this entire event though has the potential to be really, really good. Like I said at the beginning, I mean, unlike some of the previous crown
Hmm.
jewels, they've been getting a
Yep.
lot better. Um, I think this one will be really good. Comes on noon. Well, the kickoff show starts at noon Eastern time, and you will see a match on that one.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
gonna watch that.
yeah, I don't know because you don't the kickoff match if it's just one they kind of have it like right smack in the middle.
Yeah.
The kickoff show, but I don't. They're so okay. I think the odds of this one. I think this could be this person. We're like, okay, as a very long time wrestling fan, I do get the nature of it, and it is kind of
Mhm.
fun to go. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
figure the odds and we interview wrestlers when they have big events coming up, and they,
Yeah.
you know, but sometimes I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
uh, you know,
I don't.
because they go a little bit into it, too far into
Yeah.
it. I think.
Yeah.
Um, just like when they show like the drafts and they show like the reactions, and you're
Hmm.
like, your reactions just look fake.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, just stop. But if they were to talk about something else, like actually the last time they were in Saudi, and it wasn't for Crown Jewel, it was for the other. What's the other event they have in Saudi?
Uh, Super Showdown is in Australia.
Yep.
Can't remember what the other one was.
Oh, Night of Champions.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yep.
I had to look it up. It's also in the yeah. That one was the one where they had Sammy and Mustafa Ali
Uh-huh.
doing their I guess you'd call it a pilgrimage because
Yeah.
they had
Yep.
never been able to do that before.
Yeah.
Of course, ironically, Mustafa Ali is no longer with WWE,
Hmm.
but Sammy still is, and
Yeah.
so I mean, I like seeing things like that. Show me them, and I don't know if they. I know they do some things for like local charities, like
Hmm.
almost anywhere they go. And I think they did the same in Saudi where they did visit, you know, um, like local organizations, helping out with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that. Don't tell me, okay, this match, oh, well, I think it's going to be this and this, and look at it. And okay, but you're over analyzing. Come on.
Yeah. Because, like, okay, we're giving a preview. We're giving our opinions on who we think will win or should win each match. But then we're going to go into the review and discuss our picks and
Mm-hmm.
whether we were right or wrong. That never happens on the pre-show.
Right.
Everybody's always talking about their picks, but then they never say, "Oh, well, I was right about this one," or "You were wrong about that one," or blah 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 blah. It's just there's no payoff for that. So it's like, what is the point of all this if there's no payoff?
I feel a tweet coming on. Maybe that day. I'm not saying I'll put something out on Twix.
Yep.
So just like today, I put something on Twix where I tagged Tire Discounters, Bob and Tom Show, and Kevin Pollock. I did. I don't know if you saw that picture or not, but
I hadn't seen that one. No.
um, this the picture because Tire Discounters they
Yeah.
change their signs like daily, and
Hmm.
it's like funny stuff they put on there. Um, Well, the tire discounters in Eastgate, Ohio. Went by there this morning. Had to go get crickets for our chameleon. Yep, and that's a real story. But as I'm passing by the tire discounters, their sign said, "Frankenstein never scared me, marsupials do." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I know where they got that from." Kevin Pollak, the actor slash comedian, he was on the Bob and Tom show like 20 years ago,
Right.
and he was talking about working with different people, and he does impressions of people, and he does them really well. Well, he was doing an impression of, oh my god, the dude's name just, I'm going to look it up now. Oh, Christopher Walken.
Oh, okay.
He's doing an impression of Christopher Walken, and he said, "Okay, now ask me questions like you're doing an interview." But he said, "But you got to remember, Christopher Walken's every single one of his thoughts are just totally just disconnected, whatever." And they said, "So you're doing a movie?" And then he said, "Well, Frankenstein never scared me." And that's something else. It's like marsupials do. He said, they said because they're fast, and it's remember that and I've actually I've had the audio file for it before. I don't know if I still do or not because just. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" They actually put that on there. So, so that's why I got a picture. I actually turned back around just so I could get the picture of that, and that's when I posted and tagged him. And the reason I bring that up is because Tire Discounters actually just gave it a like.
So awesome.
So I'm hoping one of the other ones see it, but yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I could get in there, and they don't even call it tweets anymore. They don't call it retweets; they call it repost. But I can make a post on Twix, a Twix post.
Yeah, it's like just
if you're going to make a prediction, now go back and check your predictions because like on the NFL every Sunday, all the analysts they all give their predictions, but they also talk about, hey, how are your picks doing this year? Oh,
exactly. And they always have a and I'm not advocating for WWE to do a post game show like football does or anything like that. But at least with football, we get the pregame show, they give their predictions, and then we get the post game show and they discuss whether they were right or wrong about the predictions.
And just like I don't think anybody outside of Dallas would have predicted the Texas Rangers are going to win the World Series this year.
Absolutely not. Nope, did not see that coming at all.
But they did. And they were barely squeaked in the playoffs from what I understand. And now they got got a ring for the very first time.
Yeah.
Of course, the manager, I didn't realize this, he's won 4 rings now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because he got 3 with the San Francisco Giants, and now he has 1 with the Rangers.
Okay.
So congratulations to the Texas Rangers.
Yep.
So and before we probably got talking about the economics of wrestling, and the reason I brought that up before was because I went to the Fan Fest in Chillicothe, Ohio, about a month or so ago, and how the prices for the autographs and pictures had gone up. It was 2020 30, meaning 24 a picture with the person, 20 for an autograph, or 30 if you're getting both. Now it's like 30, 30, 50. So, yeah. So they're already advertising the one that's going to be happening in March. And there's going to be a lot of names that are going to be there. I'm debating on whether or not to go to it.
You've met a lot of those names already.
Yes. Most of the names that are going so far, I've already met. This includes Rock and Roll Express. This includes Jimmy Valiant. I was a big Jimmy Valiant fan. Rock and Roll Express, well, I know you got it too. Somehow Robert Gibson talked me into buying this ring last time I saw them.
Yep. See, same one. Yep.
So y'all do realize that means that Dwaylon and I should be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Exactly. We both have Hall of Fame rings.
We have the rings. I mean, it'll be like Ted. Hey, prove I don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
But some of the other ones that are going to be there, Jimmy Hart, who I've actually met, but not at a fan fest.
Right.
Met him before. I guess the Mountie is going to be there. Baby Doll, I've already met her. Never met the Mountie, but of course, I have met Baby Doll. Love to have her on the show. Love to have her daughter, actually, Samantha Starr. Love to have her on the show. Because Matt, big strong Mims, he said, yeah, he said she's a great person, get her on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But two names that I think is going to be interesting: RVD
Okay.
and Matt Riddle.
Oh wow. They've got a match. They're both doing an indie match. I forget what who the company is, but they have a match against each other coming up in a few weeks.
That match is, they're both going to be stoned before they even
Oh
start the
yeah,
match.
yeah,
And no, we're not making this up because RVD is a known advocate,
oh yeah,
because man, he smokes all the weed, but I mean, he believes that, in the medicinal
yeah.
effects of it. Matt Riddle, I just think he just likes his weed.
Oh
And,
yeah, yeah,
but they're still going to be there together, so you can't put them right beside each other because next thing hey, where'd they go? There's a big old empty space right there.
yeah.
Oh, they're out in the
They
back.
yeah they stepped out back for a minute.
Yeah. It'll be the same place. Some of the other wrestlers, they would step outside to smoke, like Jake the
Hmm.
Snake when he was taking off his oxygen tube. His brother Sam Houston, they were both stepping outside to smoke, and a couple other ones. But yeah, and there are some other names too. Um, was Booker T one of them? I've never met Booker T. I might go up to meet Booker T, but then again, I mean, like I said, it costs so much money. It's
Yeah, yeah,
oh, and if I was going to go up there and look at the merch, well, I mean, I like looking at the belts, like those two back there, like the Mid Atlantic belt that I have now. In fact, that
hmm
NWA World Title, I bought it up in Chillicothe, the very first one I went to. They have not had those kind of belts since.
Oh okay.
So um, when I was there the last time, actually, one of the things I could have gotten, but I'm pretty sure that my wife would have not let me sleep inside the house for a year. Demolition, of course, they were there.
Yeah.
They had they had one left. They had one of the masks. Remember the black mask with the cape on it, with
Yeah,
the little spikes on it. They
yeah.
had one left, and they would have autographed it, but it was like 250, 300, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
ooh,
My wife would have stabbed me if I'd have done that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was cool looking, but I was like, yeah, I couldn't do it. So,
Yeah.
um, and the Mass Superstar, of course, Bill Eadie, also known as
Hmm.
Demolition Axe, he was also selling a masked superstar mask,
Oh.
but it was like $100. And once again, I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already
Yeah.
spent way too much as it is, and you know, um, but out of that particular thing in Chillicothe, and this will be another reason to go, on the pro going side, is I was able to meet up with Larry Zabisco, who we had on the
Yep.
show, what was it, two,
Hmm.
3 weeks later. So that would be the reasons I would go up there, is to network,
Yeah.
and it is still cool to meet them, but I don't want to go pay to get a picture taken with somebody I've already paid, and especially when I ended up somehow getting talked into buying this ring. So, but I'll put it back. Um, but actually, some of the other things you can get it at the Fan Fest, like this right here, the Funko Pop with Money Inc., Million Dollar Man, IRS, and they both autographed it. So you can get things like that, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I just thought it was interesting that RVD and Matt Riddle both are going to be there. I'm like, oh, y'all sure that's a good idea to have them both there at the same
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Uh, so, but all right. So Saturday, Crown Jewel, go check it out. Um, yeah, because I don't think college basketball is starting up yet. I think that's the next weekend, I
Yeah.
believe. Because y'all do know when college basketball starts up, that Dwaylon and I both would be going, all right, come on, Tar Heels, do a lot better than what you did last year.
I was just getting ready to say I need the Tar Heels to step it up and do a whole lot better than they did last year because that
Yeah,
was awful.
it was. How you go from being the national runner up to not even making the tournament.
Yeah.
Um, and not even making the NIT. I
I
mean,
was
it
getting ready to say they
was,
didn't even make the NIT, and it's like, come on.
and Hubert Davis, I mean, he's part of the UNC system, so he should be doing a lot
Hmm.
better. But
Yeah.
um, but either way, like I said, Saturday, watch it if you can. If you're not, of course, it's on the network, so you can always watch the
Yeah.
replay. Because honestly, I don't know if I'll be able to watch it when it's going on, because I know we have errands we're running, and I'm going to be visiting in-laws at night because my wife has not been able to see her mom in
Mm,
a few weeks because of her foot. Um, she was supposed to go tonight, wasn't able to go. So they rescheduled it to Saturday.
hmm.
Um, and then hopefully tonight, and I got to tell this really kind of funny thing real quick. We if people are listening and they notice that we didn't drop the audio episode until Tuesday, even though we recorded Monday, blame my stupid cat for that.
What'd your cat do?
Went outside, take the dog out.
Hmm.
Well, my son opened the door while I was out there. He didn't see the cat, and this cat's notorious. He'll run out, just especially
Hmm.
when it starts getting cold. Because we think he's part Maine Coon,
Hmm.
and Maine Coons have a really really thick fur, and so he
Yeah.
likes being in the cold. But he's not an outdoor cat; he's an indoor cat.
Right.
He doesn't even chase mice inside the house. He'll watch them walk by him and go, eh, you know. So he's not like a hunter type cat, but he'll go out there just to be a jerk. And he went over to the neighbor's house and got up underneath their vehicle. And so I'm on one side of it. My wife came out. She was on the other with her bad foot and all.
Uh-huh.
She's in the walking boot, but she finally was able to reach in, grab him by the scruff of his neck, and bring him in. But we didn't get back in. I think I texted you at like close to 11:30 at night my time,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to get the audio uploaded tonight. Stupid cat got out, and we had to kind of chase him. I even texted the neighbors to let them know, hey, if you see anybody out here with flashlights, it's just us. Our cat got out. And he's under, out there. And the neighbor, he actually turned the lights on for us so we could see better.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah. And these are neighbors. They've been living there 7, 8 months now. Um, and they're pretty cool. They replaced the neighbor who threatened to shoot me. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well,
So I
then
mean,
you upgraded.
we
So
upgrade. I mean, we definitely upgraded. They have two dogs themselves, two big golden retrievers, beautiful dogs. Um, the other new neighbors we have, they have, it looks like, two boxers in a pit.
oh,
So as
okay.
long as they stay in the yard, hey,
Yeah.
we're cool. I haven't actually met them yet. You know, um, so I don't really have an impression except for I just see the dogs. Um, but that's it. That's just a story I wanted to tell about the cat and why we were delayed getting the audio going. And I will also say look for changes because we are looking at a lot of ideas to do with the podcast. So look for a lot of, potential changes that will be doing positive changes,
Hmm.
just, just kind of trying some things out. So, but I don't have anything else left. You have anything else?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, been kind of a slow week. Rest in peace, Bobby Knight. I do want to say that.
Yes. Yeah.
Talking about speaking of college basketball. Um, Not necessarily a fan of some things he did off the court, but on the court, I mean, he was,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
He's
he
an
earned,
excellent coach. Yeah.
oh yeah, the last coach to have a perfect season with the championship.
Hmm.
So, but until we can talk again, probably Monday, where we'll give a review,
Yep.
more than likely, unless something weird happens. But we'll be talking again Monday, giving a review of Crown Jewel, and we'll see how our predictions went. Unlike WWE, they just make a prediction and then they just walk away.
Exactly.
We'll see. We actually hold up our end of the bargain. So just putting that out there. So, but until we can speak again, my friends, can say goodbye and God bless.
God bless.